ale and mushroom pot pie. Okay. Now, instead of using ale in this, I'm going to be using a stout. My son didn't have an ale for me, so I'm going to be using the difference between an ale and a stout. The stout have more of a robust flavor. And also, they say to get cremini mushrooms, and they want them cornered, but I didn't have that, so I got shiitake mushrooms that have more flavor as well. So I'm going to be adding more flavor to this recipe. Now, when I have goat, it's usually just curried. So this is a new dish that I'm going to be trying. I just found, and I said, I'm making this. So it took me about 3 weeks to get all the goat meat together. Now, the goat meat that you want has to be, hold on, the shoulder cut or bite sizes without the bone in it. So you have to be very, very careful about it. Make sure that you don't have any bones in it. Let's see, I think I trimmed this about as far as I can. Right now, we need to dice up 2 carrots. So we're going to be doing our prepping right now, getting everything together. So when we put this together, it'll go 1, 2, 3. And for my son who was complaining about those shrimp cakes, he said they were delicious, Mommy. I thought they were going to. I said, no, they weren't. They were much different than what you thought they were. So the shrimp cakes came out very well yesterday. And I got high reviews. And please make this one again, Mommy. See, most people, when they cook the salmon, when I use canned salmon, it doesn't have a good taste in it. And we're not overly fond of it, but I had to use it because I didn't have the money at the time. And now that I have a little more that I can maneuver with, I can buy that fresh salmon. And because you added lox to it, it really changed the flavor. The eggs and everything went well together. But anyway, we're going to be doing something different today. They want us to dice this carrot up. I know people come and people go, but good morning anyway, for those of you that are listening. So everybody probably says, well, this is a winter meal. Well, it took me almost a month to get all the goat meat I needed together. You're going to dice 2 carrots up. And you're going to need, for mushrooms, you need 9 ounces. And they want you to quarter the mushrooms. Good morning, Grace, and how are you? Hope everything is well with you. carrot is not sweet. Wherever it's grown close to turnips. I can taste turnips in it. So sharing the ground with turnips. Most carrots I get are sweet, but when you get them from other places, you can taste the difference. Hi, Grandy. Good morning, Season, Colorado. Cookies? You must have been here a while back, Colorado. We haven't had cookies. Yeah, things are a bit crazy. My sons have given me direct orders. I cannot go into the city. Well, that's fine. I don't want to go anyway. I'm in the outskirts. All right, what do you want next? Just give me a minute. Oh, the onions. All right, we need pearl onions. Itty bitty little ones. Hi, Nicholas, Colorado, seasoned. We need, how many of these do we need? 12. 12 pearl onions. That's 5. 7. 10. 12. I have my dried mushrooms soaking right now. They have to soak for like 20 minutes. This is the only part that I hate about these little onions. Good morning, Nicholas. And seasoned. I hope all of you are doing well. The only part I hate is peeling these bloody things. They drive me crazy. So I always take one skin more than I have to because I don't like peeling these things. See, hi Angie from New Zealand. Hello, Colorado. Nicholas, good morning to everybody. And I see we got people now writing. I barely get on, barely getting my bearings for the day. And somebody's writing and has to delete messages. Okay. All right, we got that one done. Now they want me to use a sheet of puff pastry, but I don't like the gum taste in puff pastry, so I'm going to be making my own pastry for this. That's why I don't buy puff pastries and stuff. There is such a funny gum taste on them. I can't stand it. I'm going to be at this for a little bit because they are small onions. I mean, yesterday was delicious. I don't know about you guys, but lately it's like my nose is running and taking off without me. I can feel like a post-nasal drip from this weather. Once the weather levels off, I'll be fine. But till then, it's like, ugh. And onions don't help. They'll bring me to tears. Yes, they are. They're small, Angie. They're small onions. We call them pearl onions. At least that's what we used to call them. Heaven knows what they call them now. I mean, they've changed prunes and other names of food, and I'm just like, hello, do you know what you're talking about? Yeah? All right, I got about 5-7 more minutes. A little soaking, and we'll see how they're going to come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to start crying. Okay, we'll get the other stuff together. No, oh no, Taffy, we are not going through that again today. No. You sit down and you can wait. I already fed you. You were the first one fed, not me. Ooh, you're a biggie. No? Hi, William. The walls. Jim. From mine. No, I haven't. William Wallace. I had a boyfriend whose last name was Wallace. We are having goat ale and mushroom pot pie. I'm gonna cry. This one's really strong. Where are you from, Wallace? Mushrooms? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh. I'm gonna be crying. Let's see. That one's good. Oh, that one was really strong. Now I remember why I didn't like these little things, but I use them sometimes. I like them pickled, though. I want to pickle them, but the amount they want me to do. And I could just see me crying through all of the onions. Because pickled onions are nice. Pickled pumpkin is delicious. Pickled fennel, oh my God. You know. It's just some things are just unbelievable. And the reason I do all this is I get tired of, if you buy food out, they pretty much control what you have. Unless you can afford to spend $20 to $50 per meal and eat at a very extravagant restaurant or more, you know. Three, 6, 9, 12. Okay, we got these done. Thank God. Any more and I'll be in tears all day. Okay, now what do you want with this? Hold on, I've got to read this. I've read it 4 or 5 times and I'm still going to read it again. Let's see if my mushrooms are done. Now, if you're using brown or white mushrooms, they want them quartered. The white mushrooms are milder. You have more of an earthy flavor with the brown mushrooms. Okay, I gotta get my mushrooms. Hold on a minute. I read the instructions of how to take care of these, so I gotta get them out. But remember, I'm using different mushrooms for a stronger flavor. Okay. What's floating right? Okay, I'll turn you off. Just get my mushrooms out, that's all. Oh, by the way, you need 9 ounces of mushrooms. Well, I can see the word dirty. Yeah, I can see the stuff on the bottom. I'm pretty much done with you there. We won't even rinse them off. So remember, I'm using different mushrooms, but I am telling you mushrooms they want you to use. Okay. Don't worry, I'll be cutting these up. Goat, ale, and mushroom pot pie. Yeah, Angie, it does. Good morning, Ricky, Kathy. Oh, stuffed onions is what you're talking about. Yeah, I had heard of them. I think I did one. Yeah, I did do a stuffed onion. I did. I remember doing it. I had to parboil them. And then we have to chop these coarsely. Because I don't have the ones they want me to use. So I'm going to have to use different ones. So this is going to give more of an earthy flavor with everything that I'm doing. I should. I've had these before. They taste familiar. All right, put those with your carrots and onions, your mushrooms. You need 9 ounces. I'm glad I'm doing these. These are I can taste the smokiness in the back of this. This is going to be good. Okay. Let's see what they want next. We got those done. They have everything separated at different times they want to put in this. All right. Now next you want to put tomato paste, allspice, and garlic together. All right, you need 2 cloves of garlic finely chopped. So you're going to need another bowl. I think you want it. Oh, God. Crushing them a bit makes it easier to take the peeling off and then just trim the tip where the roots are. Okay. We're making a goat ale mushroom pot pie. Good morning, Hamilton, Connie, Willow, Angie. The only thing I'm doing a lot different from this recipe. Number one, I'm going to be using a stout instead of an ale. It'll give it more, and I'm using different mushrooms to have more of a smoky flavor. And on top of that, I am not using puff pastry. Yeah, like I told you, I can taste the gum in it. Even when somebody buys a pizza, which is, I consider, you know, if somebody's going to buy a pizza and said, let's have pizza, they don't want to order it. They buy it frozen and heat it up. I'm respectful, but I can taste the gum in it. And I do not like that gum taste. So they must use the gum in place of trying to hold it together because gum stretches. Okay, how much tomato paste do you want in this? No. All right, you need a teaspoon to put with your garlic. You're going to put a fourth of a teaspoon of allspice with it. And we'll get the tomato paste. Hi, official. It's an apron. Oh, man. You know, I knew you guys were coming. You trolls. I knew you were coming. You were just late. You're usually on top of it right away when I come on. All right, we need 2 tablespoons of tomato paste to go with the garlic and the allspice. So when you do all of this work before the cooking, this is all called prepping. And that's what women have to do, get everything ready, because if you don't, when you go to do it, you're running behind. I should know. I get like that sometimes. I said, I can't. I don't have time to prep, so I race through it and I mess up. All right. What do you want next on this menu? Okay. Now, in a measuring cup. I mean, we're going there. Don't drop it, Sandra. All right, and we're almost done putting stuff together to get this going. All right. On the ale, where am I? We need 2/3 of a cup. All right, 2 cups of vanilla. I need a bottle opener. Now, when you pour, you want to make sure that you pour very slowly with the measuring cup. I want to put the lid back on it, so I have to be careful popping it up so I don't bend it too much. So I snap it back on because he won't drink it after I use it. So you tilt it and make sure you pour slowly so you get exactly 2 cups that you're looking for. Because if you foam it up, it's not going to work. See how much I have here. Oh, I'd hate to tell him I need 2 of these. He'll get really angry. I know him. Let me go ask my son if I can have another one. Hold on. Okay, he's asleep. We're not going to be able to do that. Well, I'm just a little off. And you need 2 cups of meat stock. This is bone broth. So I'm going to add some water because we need 2/3 of this drink. And I'm not up there. Well, okay. Let's go. So I need 2 and 2/3. So I'm going to use this in place of it. Okay. Let's hold on a minute. You need 2 cups of meat stock and 2/3 of a cup of ale. Okay, I got too much here. Okay, I'll just pour some out. I'm not concerned about it. Okay, we'll have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it that way because I don't have what I need. I have to ask him for more. I won't do that. Now, into that meat stock and the ale, you're going to be adding rosemary, and they just want a sprig of rosemary, which is just a little. If I need more, I will go outside and see if I can find something off my rosemary. I'm out of seasonings. Man, when I go shopping, I'm going to spend money just for seasonings. I've already got 4 seasonings I'm out of. That's approximately what you'd find on a sprig. I know. I'm out there. But my plant's asleep right now. And 1 bay leaf. My family eats bay leaves, so I am not going to pull mine out. We just break ours up and eat it. All right, so I think we've got just about everything together except for the flour. We have to put the flour together in the meat and we will be done. All right. Now, when they say flour, they only want you to use how much? They want 2 tablespoons only of flour. Okay. Oh, I would put more. I think you would agree with me. We would use more, but they say not to. Okay. That's 1. That's about 2. Now they want you to season it with salt and pepper because they say well seasoned flour of salt. Hi, Lee, Nathan, Angie, Wolf. Yeah, I know I don't. I barely get up and come down here and start cooking, and then somebody starts it. They don't tell you how much salt to put in. you're pretty much left on your own, as well as pepper. If you like pepper, you're going to be heavy-handed. If you don't like pepper, you're going to be light-handed. That's a choice you have to make. Good, we're almost at that point where we can start cooking. Now, when I go to clean this kitchen, I'm not going to be cooking. I don't know when I'm coming down to it. I have a few more rooms and I'm going to be in here. So the day I clean the kitchen, you will not be seeing me. Because I'm going to be spending about 13 hours in here scrubbing, waxing, and everything else. Because the kitchen is one of the filthiest. I mean, it's grease, but the bathroom, I could say, is just as bad because you get mold in the bathroom you have to clean up. That's why they're the two most dangerous rooms in the house. Do you know what I thought about this morning when I woke up? My mother, my stepmother, my parents got a divorce. Her name was Mary. She was from Mexico. My father, who's a racist, actually married a Mexican. I said, boy, you want to talk about the pot calling the kettle black, you know? I don't know why my father couldn't see it. My father never hid that he was racist, you know. Maybe he was against, you know, certain people. Well, anyway, there was a time that my mother, I stayed with my father about 6 months. Now, I tried to be nice to her. I tried to help her. She showed me how to wash clothes by hand. But every time I went to go shower, her clothes were hanging all over the bathroom. So I said, if this is the shit my father wants, well, I'll do it too. Well, he came and said, she's my wife. And I said, and I'm your daughter. And he said, she can do what she wants. I said, oh, okay, we're going there. So I decided I would cook with her. Oh, that hit the roof as well. So then I figured we would sew together. That didn't go either. No matter what I did to please the bitch, you know, that was my attitude at that point. She was going to give me a problem. All right. Here's 2 pounds of goat meat. They want 2 1/4. I could not get 2 1/4, so I got 2 pounds. They want you to sprinkle this all over. And toss it. So one day we went, she had to go, she wanted to pick some things up. I said, okay, did I want to go with her? You know, I'm trying to be a good daughter, stepdaughter, okay? And she made you feel like you had to beg for everything, even when you helped her. So while we were at the store, now remember, she doesn't speak perfect English and I don't speak Spanish, so she was trying to explain to me, would I be upset if she and Dad had a child? And I said, no, do it if you want to. Yeah, I don't care. That was, you know, it's their life. That's how I looked at it. Hi, Ramsey, Bobby, Hamilton, Putty Cat. I don't know. Putty Cat, I don't know what I would serve with. This is a red meat. A beer might go well with it. It is a stew. If you're going to put an ale, then get a stout to go with this. Since it is cooked with stout or ale, I mean, I would go in that direction of a beer with it. Bobby. So she asked me, did I care? And I said, no, you know, I don't care. It's you and Daddy have a life, you know. Bad enough I was having problems with my mother. what happened was she must have said something to my father. My father had been drinking, and she said something. From what I can gather is that she told my father that they were supposed to have children. And I never said that. I said, if you want children, you and daddy, go ahead. I don't care, you know. Well, my father got drunk. He was really pissed. I could say that he was mad. I'd never seen him that mad. I'd never seen my father get that angry. Well, it seems what Mary told him was that I ordered them to have children. She took my words and twisted it around. That I said that he had to have children. So I was in my bedroom, and I heard my father call me out. What he said, you don't want to hear what he said when he called me out. He called me every name but my name. And he did something that he thought he could scare me. But at that point, I was pretty fed up trying to please him, and I'm going to have to move and please my father. I couldn't do anything right in that house. Nothing. If I tried to help her clean, I didn't do it right. If I tried to help her cook, I didn't know what I was talking about. Whatever I did, I could not do it right. She was very quick. She liked the power and the authority. And I understood why my little brother said what he said about her. It made a lot of sense, you know. This is when siblings learn from each other. So my father comes in the house screaming every name but my name, and Mary was outside, so whatever she said outside, I don't know. He came in, and he had been drinking. He went, and he had a gun. Wasn't a snub nose. I think it was a 6 or 12 shooter. It was a light colored gun. It wasn't black. So a silver. I'm not a hunter, so I'm not sure what kind of gun it was, but I remember seeing the barrel. And I stood there and I looked at him, because at this point, my father and I were really having it out because of Mary. And he sat there and told me, he was cursing, but what he was telling me is, you don't tell me I have to have children. And I said, Daddy, I didn't say that. Now, see, Mary had been building this up between my father and I. She was playing us both quite well. She ruined the relationship of my younger brother and my father, and she was definitely ruining this one as well. And what happened was he pointed the gun at me. So I told him point blank, you hate me that, and I'm cursing at this point, that much. Pull the gun. I walked up to it and I put it right here. And I said, I walked right up to the gun. I said, pull it. I was really mad. I said, pull it. Send me home. You hate me that much? Send me home. I don't care anymore. And he and I had it out. And I looked at him, cold hate at that point. And I looked at him. I said, do me the favor. Send me home. You never wanted me in the first place. You told me. He said, I did not. I said, yes, you did. You told me as a little girl that I ruined your whole life because I was born, but I wasn't there when you were fucking my mother. And that's exactly what I said. I'm sorry, but that was my language. And he backed down. I said, pull it, pull it. I was so angry. I said, if you don't pull it, I'm going to hit you. He backed down. He had never seen me that angry. Never. I left a week later. And I told him, I am sorry. And I left. I told him goodbye. I'll never see you again. And he thought I was crazy. He said, you're as bad as your mother. I said, do you think a gun's going to stop me? Do you think a gun is going to frighten me? Are you that stupid? A gun does not stop somebody. It might slow them down. It cause them a lot of pain. They might leave the body because they're dead. But I said, you hate me that much? You've hated me since I was a little girl.
You never wanted me. He said, your mother filled your head with those things. I said, no, Daddy. You said it to me when you were sitting in the rocking chair and you had your vodka and orange juice. I could tell you what you were wearing and I could tell you what I was wearing. And I never forgot your words. And he was mad. Yeah, so, you know, people think you have a gun and that's going to frighten somebody. Doesn't. Especially when they're angry. That's not going to work. My father was the only person that ever pulled a gun on me. When my husband heard it, he was not happy about that. And he didn't know. Do I fear guns? No. No, I don't. I grew up with them. And so many people are afraid of guns. If it has, like they say, the bullet has your name on it, you can't run. But I had it out with him. All because of her. So when people talk about stepmothers, stepfathers, don't trust them. And then she sat there and said, A.D., I didn't do anything. You didn't do anything? Man, you take words and you twist them and you just try to get to my father. Yeah. So I don't like them. Now we're going to brown this meat. Yeah, my parents are dead, both of them. No, it was, yeah. So I said, you deserve her. You too. You know, you too deserve me. Mom was right. And Dad, you both were right. My father was right about my mother, and my mother was right about my father. I walked away from both of them. I couldn't deal with them, the insanity. But that was the last time I saw my father, was him pulling a gun on me. I left a few days later and never looked back. So we're going to brown all this meat. We set our oven. We want us to set it to 300. That's a little temperature. Okay, we want it at 300. So I thought about it when I woke up. I said, why am I thinking about this? I haven't thought about this, you know? That's what I thought about. My father thought he could frighten me with a gun. With a pistol. And he found out his little girl wasn't that stupid. She didn't care. I mean, when you get that angry, you come to the point where you don't care. Okay. Good morning, Hamilton. Doug. Dodge, I should say. Yep, every day. The bottom bathroom's going to be cleaned in half. The dining room's going to be done. Then I'll finish the dining room. But when I do the kitchen, that's going to be 13 hours. That is going to be a lot of work, and I know that. I'm going to do this whole needle in this until I have to put it in and put a crust on it. But I might make a crust and just lay it on top of this. I gotta think about how I'm gonna do this. New York, Dodge, Hamilton, good morning. As by the way, it's 2 tablespoons of oil in here. So I learned some things. Like I said, I think everybody goes through life one way or another, unless you're just pampered. Things happen, you know. Spicy. It was a very angry 10 minutes. I had prepared myself to go home, spiritually go home, die. But I had no fear of it, none whatsoever. I don't know if it was the anger in my eyes that frightened my father. I do not know why he did not pull the trigger, because he was full of hate. He said, I hate you. I'm not telling you anything I don't already know. I said, you told me that a long time ago. My mother didn't want me. She used me, trying to manipulate, and my father didn't want me. Well, I knew where I stood. And my older brother wouldn't let me grow up. And my younger brother, well, he was in a world of his own. Have I fired a gun? I've fired rifles. And my sons, my family. That's why I couldn't, my husband said, you have to write your father, Sandy. And I said, no, I'm not writing him, Tony. He said, you have to write your father, Sandy. And I said, why? And he said, because he's your father. But when we came to the end of the letter, he had to help me write the letter, because all what I had was, no, I'm not writing him. He said, write, love, Sandy. I said, I can't. He said, just write 4 little letters, L-O-V-E, Sandy. I said, I can't. He said, Sandy, it's very easy. I wrote, I remain. And he said, no, write, love, Sandy, because that's your father. And I said, I can't do this. And we ended up in an argument 15 minutes later. And he said, write it. And I broke down crying, and I said, I can't. And I was crowded in a tiny little corner like a little girl. And he said, I got children, you know. And he said, what is wrong with you? Why can't you? And I said, he hates me. And I told him what my father did. And he looked at me. He said, just sign Sandy. And then my father, another time he told me, I'll only love you when you're 21 and you're an adult. That's why I couldn't tell him. And that's the only time I ever heard my father write 100 times, I love you, Sandy, I love you, Sandy, was after I became 21. Well, good morning, Annie. But I was thinking about that this morning. I said, why am I thinking about that? Are you coming through, Daddy, that you want to sit there and try to mend the fence? You should have thought about that a long time ago. Before you go and tell a child who's not even 6 years old how much you hate them and that I've ruined your life. When I didn't do anything but be a little girl. So all the time I was growing up, my father never said he loved me. He never said he liked me. I got one praise in my whole life from him. And that was he was proud of an outfit that I made. One outfit. It was a jumper with a blouse. And he said, "This is my daughter, and I'm proud of this that she made." And that's all. I never got a love you, hugs, no, nothing. But I hugged him and told him how much I loved him. But it was like deaf ears it fell on. The only words I got was, I ruined his life, and that I was not so. I don't trust step-parents. Because of what Maria did. And my father would talk about her, and we tried corresponding. I just said, I don't want to hear about her, I want to hear about you. And he kept on telling me, oh, she's such a sweet woman, she's so kind, Sandy. I said, I don't want to hear about her, I want to hear about you. You're my father. But he wouldn't talk about himself. So I always, as an adult, the only thing I could say is, he couldn't keep his pants up. Goat, ale, and mushroom stew. Mushroom. Maybe. I'll put it there. So you never know. I can't answer for why he did what he did, okay? I don't know what drove him that way. Whatever happened in his life. But you don't take your problems and put them onto your children. So when he died, and I heard how he died, I fell out laughing. I said, that sounds like him. My older brother was so indignant. He really, really was. He said, how could you? I said, it's hilarious. It's just like the cartoons. He did exactly what the cartoons did. I tell you. I did not send any condolences to my stepmother because of what she did. And then I found out later that she did it with all of us to keep us away from him. And she's going to have to deal with that karma. She really is. Do I have to answer for my mouth? Oh yeah. My father got both barrels. There wasn't a word. I think I was as bad as a sailor, if not worse. So that's what I was thinking about when I woke up this morning. I said, I guess he wants to reconciliate. You know? Well, whatever. Between my parents, I can say my mother raised me properly. She raised me as a young lady. Everybody has a story, okay? That's what I'm going to do. It's a little different than what they want. You want more oil to this pan? Okay. Well, I had more oil. I should have added it first, but I didn't. Didn't know, no. And saute this just a bit. So now we're going to cook these for a bit, and we'll see what happens to these. You're so welcome, Valentina. Valentina, yeah. ESK? Okay. I don't like candy unless I make it. Well, my son did find some coffee I really like. I don't celebrate Easter the way people do with chocolates and stuff. My husband one time came in with cherry, with liquor, with chocolate around it. I told him I hate it. He said, all women love this. I said, I don't. I hated that candy. If you can buy some fruit for me, I'd be really happy with that. But he found out my favorite of all the chocolates is white chocolate. I love white chocolate. We're making goat, ale, and mushroom pot pie. We're sauteing these right now. I have to leave them alone. I told you what I'm making. Oh, well, you guys are talking to each other. Go ahead. Knock yourselves out. Yeah, I know it's really brown on the bottom. Now, if you're using the white or the brown mushrooms, understand you're going to be building fluid up, and you're going to have to wait for the fluid to cook out of them. I don't have to wait that long. Because I don't have that problem. Okay. Once you cook and those mushrooms of yours are dry, add the tomato paste, the garlic. What else did we put all spice in here? This recipe is actually leaving some steps out, and I'm sort of having to figure out where to go with it. Oh, that has a nice smell. This has a really nice smell. Then you're going to add the goat meat, and we're going to bring this to a boil. Very interesting, I have to say. When you add the liquid, you start deglazing the bottom of the pan to bring those drippings up and the flavor up. I'll get most of it, not all of it. That's warm, Sammy. When you cook, you have to feel through your spoons and stuff. As I stir, you can feel it breaking up. That's why I'm stirring it. We're going to bring this to a boil. Now, they don't say put a lid on this, but they don't say not to put a lid on this. I'm actually scraping up the bottom pieces. Okay, I'm going to bring you to a boil. I've read this recipe 4, 5, 6 times, and it still doesn't say what to do with this. All right, they want 2 tablespoons of brown sugar added into this. Let's see. It's about 1.5. I know you're looking at me. Yeah, that's just about what I need. I'm using dark brown. It's got more flavor. And I think the goat meat with the molasses would be fine. They want you to sit there and add more salt and pepper to this to taste. I'm going to be moving it to the oven because we really haven't added salt and pepper yet.
this does look interesting. Grease and stuff for my hands. That's an unusual flavor. It almost has a bite to it. Okay, now that it's boiling, they want us to put this into the oven. I'm going to read it one more time. They don't say cover it, you know. Okay. I got to turn this back on. They want me to reduce it. So I guess that's why they wouldn't want the lid on. I don't know. Leaving a few steps out here, and I'm figuring it out as I go along. Doesn't make sense to use 3 different pots for what she wants done. All right, we're gonna reduce this some. They want it reduced. So we make the pie, it won't be watery when we put the crust on it. So that's what we have to do, reduce this. So bring it to high, and we're gonna cook this down. What do you want, Taffy? See why it goes into the 2-quart the way it's going. All right, so we're going to be reducing this. Yes, it is, Hamilton. You got it. Oh, eternal slumber. Okay. Hold on. A muller, M-U-E-L-L-E-R, is the pot. They come in different colors. I think it's actually cast iron with a glaze over it. No, he doesn't want to go outside. He wants me to hold him and see what I'm doing. Taffy's like my little dog in the house. He follows me all over the house, talking to me all day long. I don't know why. When he goes, it's tired. If I move to another room, he'll wake up and move where I'm at. Pretty cat, he doesn't go outside. He thinks he's big and he's bad and everything else, but he isn't. Now his brother, I can put in my lap and he'll stay in my lap and I can sit outside with him. Taffy, let me go, let me go. I am bad. And I said, yeah, and a hawk will come from the air and snoop your little fat buns off. And that's what I tell him. And he looks at me, you know, and said, get over it. All right, so we have to cook this for like 10 minutes. So it's going to be cooking like that. And let's see, do I have anything to put that in? I don't think I do. Ooh. Okay, I can pack in my tomato paste. They do have a container. Where did I put that spoon? Sandra? Oh. So you'll need a 9-inch single crust to finish this pie up with after it's baked for about an hour and 20 minutes. I haven't decided which one I want to make yet. I have a lot of different ones. I even have a gluten-free. And I said, really? I think it also has a vegetarian one. I doubt I'll ever use those, but anyway, I do have those recipes. Somebody asked me, do I have vegetarian dishes? Yeah, I do have a few. Not a lot, because we aren't vegetarians in this house. If you haven't noticed that, we are not vegetarians. As you can see all the meat that we're eating. Yeah. No, never did that, Putty Cat. Haven't gotten there yet. But I'm sure if I have a recipe, I would make an attempt to try. Sure it is. And good morning, sweet Julian Y. Hamilton. Catch it. I am. Good morning. No, Taffy, you are going to be ornery today. No, if this cooks really down low, I have a thing to put it in. I will BS. Oreo. My sons raved about that. I got a spring salad and I put the salmon cake on it, right? And I used the tartar sauce that I showed you. And then what I did was I made the deviled eggs and I took the lox and chopped it up with garlic and mayonnaise and the egg yolks and we stuffed it with that and it came out really, really nice. My sons both said, repeat that, Mommy. So next time I make it, I'll double the recipe because they enjoyed it that much. So it came out excellent. Hi, Julian. Now, I hope you ladies realized I did give you a video on how because you asked me how do I basically put myself together in the morning. I did show you exactly what I use, and I've been using it since I was in my 20s, every day, twice a day. And as you can see, it's been caring for my skin all this time, so it does work. Well, what kind of deviled eggs do you want? There's a whole bunch of them, Oreo. Kit. A goat ale mushroom pot pie. And good morning, AJ. Oh, they say you're so cute. Yes, they do. Ow. Oh, don't you get it? No, I hear your anger. Don't you get angry with me. There's no salmon for you today. You still have some food until I get this in the oven, okay? And then I will feed you some more. You know what I like about Chewy? For the pets, they are so versatile in the food that they have. And I'm going to turn this off and put it in the oven. It does not want a lid on it, so it's evident this is how it's going in. So just like this, I'm putting it in. Now they want this to cook for 1 hour and 1.5. How long? For 1 hour and 20 minutes. Why don't we just make it 1.5? So we'll say 7:42, 8:15. So at 8:15, that's what we'll be putting the crust on. You want to see them? Come here. Don't run away. No, 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 no.
No, come here. You want to see them? There they are. See? Oh, what are you getting all angry because I'm picking you up? See? There. He always has to see what I'm doing. No, no more. No. You were not happy that I picked you up? No, you get no more second chances. So listen, I'm going to go get my crust. I better find. You want to stick around for the crust? I have to put the flour and stuff together. Hold on a minute. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one we can't make because this is a pat and pan one. All butter. The water's not that cold. No, we don't need that one. No. Yeah, listen to this. I have a vegan pie dough, a gluten-free pie dough. Oh, then we move into the tarts. So I think I'm going to make an all butter pie dough for this. A single crust because this is going to be going on top. Hi, Lil. Oreo. Yes, we had yes, Sunday. Okay. Anyway. So if you want an all buttered dough, we're going to need a lot of butter. Because you will need 10 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Okay, that's 10. Sugar and salt. Okay, we got the sugar, salt, we need the flour. I'm going to add nutritional large flake yeast. It's not a yeast that you use with bread. This is a supplement. And I'm going to use this. Liliani? Is that it? Silent on the air. That sounds like a name that we named our little girl. Liliani? Did I say that right? Thank you. If your name is Liliani, that's what we were naming our little girl, which means heavenly flower. And we just thought it was the most beautiful name. Okay. How much flour do you want, Sandra? At least you should at least check it out. 1 1/4 cups. Okay. You need 1 1/4 cups of flour. You have a beautiful name, and it does mean heavenly flower. All right, that's 1/4 cups of flour. Taffy, do not get underfoot. You need a tablespoon of sugar. Another set of measuring spoons. Half a teaspoon of salt. They say table salt. I'm not using table salt. I'm going to use my salt. And you're going to add a tablespoon of nutritional flake. Remember, this is, it's called large flake nutritional yeast. Bob's Red Mill has it. If you have a health food aisle or you go to a health food store, you'll find it. It's not for making bread, it's just to make, if you're using white flour and stuff, you can make it more nutritious, that's all. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of that in. Oh. How do you want me to do this butter? In bits and pieces? You want me to put this in a food processor? No, I'm not doing that today. I'm not pulling out any more dishes. I have too much cleaning to do today. I will do it their way another day. I'm not doing it today that way. Let's see, how can I do this? Some days I am crowded and I've got too much I have to do, so I'm going to do it a little different. We'll get it in the refrigerator, let it get cold. Cajun? Okay, good morning. Bud, in Tennessee? No, everybody I know is dying, you know. It's just, you know, when you get old, that's the only thing is if you're left standing, the last one, it is, you know, you're pretty much, that's it. I mean, my friends, I can see just about everybody I know is sick, okay? And I could see me being the last one standing. Yeah. Hi, Bud. Yeah, I know. Everybody went to Grandma's house on Sunday. There weren't arguments, but my mother and father argued at the dinner table. I should have horrible table manners. But anyway, I don't. But when you're old, you end up being the last one standing. You wonder who's going to be the last one standing. I can talk from my 40-year-old friends all the way up to near 80. They're all on medication, except me. Yeah, by the time you're 55 or so, everybody's going to be gone unless they're younger than you. So I sit there and I listen to them and all, but when they say, what do you want? I hate saying when they ask me. I hate to tell them, I'm not on any medication. They said, well, you're lucky. I said, no, it's health. It's your health. How you eat is going to be dictating how you die.
you know. And that's how I look at it. My sons finally came to the conclusion, you know, you're right, Mommy. The work that we do, we could get hurt much faster than you because you're home. I mean, you're in the yard and you only go to the store if you have to. I said, that's right. Would you think about it? I could end up losing both of you very quickly, very, very quickly if something happens in the city where you work. And I will be left standing alone. Got my girlfriends are all sick. I mean, there's not one of them that's not on a medication. The reason I'm stirring it around as I grate her is to keep the butter from clumping together. But my favorite is chipped beef over mushrooms. I mean, over biscuits. My mistake. Oh, yeah, Oreo, I know. A lot of times I have that problem. That's why you see Band-Aids on my finger, because I've been gratering. Or my nails are too long and I cut my nail off and you see me looking in the food trying to find my nail. That's why I keep mine really short. I learned. And that's why you leave your hair pulled back. Nobody wants to eat your hair in a meal. Either put it in a net or pull it back because you do shed. That'll be done. That'll give me time to get other things done in the house. Okay. Good morning, Paul, Bud. Yeah, I freeze mine. Mine are always in the freezer. Well, so you don't like cooking in the morning? That's fine. I know a lot of women. I mean, one woman came on yesterday and told me point blank, I couldn't stand to be a stay-home-at mom. You know, she wants to make money. And I said, you can disagree with me, but you have to argue with the Bible. The Bible's very explicit about a lot of things. People just don't want to read it, and the ministers won't say it because the people don't want to hear it. Break, that's fine. How much water do you want me to put in this? A spatula? Fourth? Yeah, and I already got a little wet too. I don't even know how I did that. As long as you don't stick to the other page, we're fine. All right, you want a fourth of a cup of ice water and a spatula. All
They don't want you to handle this because it's already cold. If you handle it, you're actually going to cause a problem. So you're going to use a spatula and sort of mash this together. Then we'll get saran wrap and do it. What you're trying to do is keep your hands off of this so you can sit there and keep it flaky and the butter doesn't melt. If the butter melts, you're going to end up with just a regular crust instead of that exceptional flaky one that you want. So start adding water and start mashing this together. So the less you handle it, the better. Even if you're using shortening, it does melt from your hand. But as we work it, it should come together quite well. Then put it in the refrigerator and then it'll get chilled so it'll come out even better. South Africa, okay. We're really getting around, aren't we? Yeah, I know, but I don't. Because see, it's your choice, and they're going to make their choice. The thing is that you don't have to follow them. What you do is, the Bible means that much to you. You hold it dear to you. You don't have to depend upon them because you have to answer for yourself. My sons are grown. They know the rules. And that's what I call them, rules that we live by. So, I have friends that they don't want to hear the Bible. I have one girlfriend said, I'm going to hell. I know I'm going to hell for what I've done. I said, I tried to explain to her, but I became extremely aware because as I said things, I was getting confusion with what I was seeing. So I knew she was fibbing. I've learned that when things get jumbled like that, the person I'm talking with is lying to me and doesn't want me to see the truth. So I said, okay. And I let her live the lie because it's not my place to say something. A child, yeah, that's your place because you have to raise them. We need saran wrap now because we can't handle it. We have to work it without handling it. No, I cut my nails. Now it's going to be more hard to get it off. I have cried for people who don't believe in God, you know. How could you? When you look at life itself,
But people will believe what they want to believe. They will deny whatever they want to deny. Okay. Now, without touching this, we're going to put this into a disc, and we've got to work it into a dough. That's the whole thing. They do not want you to touch it. Believe you me, it does work. The butter is still going to melt some, but not as to the extent. You just keep working it and working it and working it through the saran wrap. It's getting there. It is. But it's going to be so flaky and so good, and you get all the raves and reviews about it. But I can't stand the pie crust that come out of the freezer department. That gum just drives me crazy. And now that it's difficult to find yeast, which I would think is a stupid thing, I'm converting all my breads into sourdough cultures and rolls. I'm just going to do the best I can. But you can see the butter is not melted, but it is coming together quite nicely. I haven't touched it, and you can see. Hi, Leaping. Check. Hi. Jabril. Hi. Well, they're doing something at my store, and I can't seem to find yeast that easily, unless it's fast acting. And I use regular yeast in my sourdough cultures, so I don't know what they're doing, but they're under new management. I think the son is taking over, and he's trying to put his twist on it. And it's been for a month now. I finally got some, but I usually keep jars of it around the house because I do a lot of baking and stuff. Okay. There it is. Now I'm going to go put this in the refrigerator until it's time. Where? Okay, we still have over an hour, so I'm going to let you guys go.
I don't use that. I use bread flour and water that I feed mine with. And then when I make bread, I add everything else to it. But Oreo, I don't know if there is. I'm just saying I'm having trouble finding it for me. Hello, Carl and Kimberly. It's a goat ale mushroom pot pie. Okay, that's what's going on, Carl. Listen, I'm going to let all of you go. Kimberly, I'm glad you just got here, but we're leaving now because I got to clean up my mess. I won't be back until we're ready to put the crust on, and that'll be at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so look for New York time if you're not in New York, and that'll help you. I will, psychic Carl. So I'll see all of you who's ever free at 8:15. Okay, that's the second part that we'll be doing on this. So take care, enjoy your day. For those of you that cannot join us, and for those of you that are home and can, I will see you at 8:15. Fair enough? Yeah, I think it is. Take care for now. Bye bye.